I remember when I lost my mind. There was someone so pleasant about that place. I remember when I lost my mind. There was someone so pleasant about that place. I remember when I lost my mind. There was someone so pleasant about. I remember when I lost my mind. There was someone so pleasant about that place. I remember when I lost my mind. I remember when I lost my mind. There was someone so pleasant about that place.
We all know someone or have been the person that the minute you get into a relationship, you forget about your friends, you forget about your family. Some people will even go as far as forget about their children. Their children, if they already have them. It's very sad, but this is called addiction to love. And not just that, do you over fantasize or fall in love quickly when you don't even know the person yet and you're already daydreaming and see your house? You have the picket fence and a fairy tale of how everything is supposed to be. This is very dangerous and it's called addiction to love. And you guys, I'm not even being dramatic. There's a whole book written on this called Addiction to Love that I've been obsessed with. This book was written by Susan Peabody, and it's about overcoming obsession and dependency in relationships. She herself struggled with the addiction to love. I think we all have been there. I have even been there. And she talks about the causes to trauma behind why, and some scary situations. Like, we don't understand, how can a woman sit by and watch a man lay down with her daughter and allow it because she loves the man so much? Or she gave some very sad stories in the book that are real life situations that happened where a woman was so in love with this new guy and he came into the house but did not want to be with her in the presence of her son. While it was pouring rain outside, she let her little boy, who was like 7 years old, stay outside in the pouring rain so she could be intimate with this man, this new lover that she has. And although the woman's heart was breaking and wanted to bring her son back in because the son was crying and begging to come in, it's like she was paralyzed and could not stand up for herself, but not because the guy was just so domineering and violent. It was because she was so desperate for that kind of love and she was addicted to it. And this is why I say it can get very dangerous. And if you don't spot it in yourself, you might find yourself going crazy over a relationship. To even drive this further, have you guys seen the trend on TikTok and social media where it's like people are reminiscing on the crazy things that they did when they were in love with someone? And they're just like, I can't believe I did that. Yeah, this is kind of the same thing. You need this book. In today's video, we're going to break down some of her key points and we're going to identify. By the time you're done with this video, I hope you can identify to see if you yourself struggle with the addiction to love or you know someone who does, and you can share this video with them. Get the book on Audible. It's on Audible. Like, I can't tell you, it's like about 5 hours listen. And I've shared it with everyone I already know because I'm like, oh my goodness, I think we all deal with this. And I myself have listened to it a couple times. Just stellar. My favorite book I'll say thus far this year, along with The Disease to Please. Those are my 2 favorite books this year thus far. But we're going to get into all of that and more. But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Creating Elude Mental Gems. This channel is dedicated to leveling up in all areas of your life. So let us learn together, read together, but most importantly, grow together. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. So I do want to start with what is an addiction to love? Addiction to love is many different things. It's not just in the relationship sense, because in the book she talks about the parental dynamic where a young man was basically explaining how his mom is obsessed with him. So that can happen too. Moms that are just overly obsessed with their children and just do everything for them, is overbearing. They're grown adults and they feel like they have no autonomy. They don't want to hurt your feelings, but they feel like they're suffocating. And you as a mom or a dad, you think you're doing the best that you could do. And you're providing love and affection for them and you never want them to feel unloved, etc. All the while the child feels suffocated and they feel like they can't even escape. They run off to college, they leave you abandoned. And when you're old, you're like, how come they're not calling me? I did my very best. I was there for them. I called and all of that. But you are in a sense smothering them and projecting that addiction to love onto them. So that happens also. And it can even be with friendships. Oh my goodness. She gave that example in the book. Oh my goodness. I was like, I'm not really that crazy when it came to relationships like that. But I was weird with friendships. This is a real thing. Like, I was weird with friendships where it was kind of codependent. You know, if I wouldn't want to go somewhere without a friend with me. I couldn't do things alone. And not just that, would smother my friends, over giving them gifts, trying to make their lives a lot easier, holding their hands through things, not allowing them to just get their personal space. I didn't know anything about personal space. It's just when I became friends with someone, it's like, oh, we're besties. Let's do everything together. And as you get older, you're like, oh my goodness, that could have worked in elementary or middle school. But like, you guys are grown adults, and most of my friends have kids and their own families. Like, Korean, get a life. But it's crazy. And maybe because I was always like that with my own sister, we were very codependent with each other growing up. We just went everywhere together, like everywhere, did everything together. So when she got married and moved on, I would project that onto my friends. And it's very unhealthy. And a lot of this, she talks about where it stems from, which is the trauma. We can over fantasize people in our lives or get very stuck on people. And if you have that kind of personality, like if you notice that whenever you become friends with someone, you start to call them for everything, or when you get in a relationship, you call them for everything. It's all of a sudden you cannot think for yourself. You need someone to hold your hands and do everything for you, or you just want to make their life super easy, etc. It's crazy, right? So that is addiction to love. But for this video, we are going to speak more on the relationship aspect, but for all the other aspects, I hope you guys really get this book. I cannot stress it enough. Please, please purchase the book. It's not more than $20. And if you can afford to get $20 to get this book, it is gonna spare you a lot of trouble in the future, help you understand the psyche of those around you as well as your psyche when you start to act crazy irrational in a relationship. So let's get into some of the symptoms before we get into some of the causes, so you can kind of sound off if you struggle with this. There's a few signs, because you might be another thing I'd say before I go too much deeper, you might not be someone who has an addiction to love or suffer with it, but you're dating someone who has an addiction to love. And how you can recognize it and kind of set those boundaries or escape, because it can become very toxic for you. Look and pay attention to these signs and see, am I dating someone who has an addiction to love? Number one is an overwhelming fear of being alone. Does the person that you're dating, are they comfortable with their solitude, being alone? Or do you feel like they need you around all the time? Or you might spend the whole day with them. I know social media glamorize that with their memes. Like, my boyfriend could be with me all day, and then he leaves the minute he's about to leave, I'm crying at his feet. That's not cute. That's toxic. And social media memes and cutesy stuff glamorize all of these things all the time. It's very, very toxic. Or are you yourself, you find it very difficult for you to be alone in your solitude, do things on your own, or be by yourself? I didn't even know about addiction to love and all of that, but I will say the minute you start curing and healing and learning about your childhood traumas and triggers and things, for like, once you start healing, all of these things naturally go away, because I can definitely be by myself now and prefer it. And my friends have to literally fight with me but it's very toxic if a person cannot be alone. Solitude scares them. This person might be dealing with addiction to love. Next is obsessive thoughts regarding the relationship. That means over fantasizing. I told you guys already in several videos, like the 15 laws of dating for the elevated woman. I think I might pin that in the comments for you guys. And in other videos, I talked about that, where you want to be careful that you don't over fantasize with people you don't know like that. Like, when you first meet a guy, he looks good. He looks like your dream guy. And all of a sudden, you're seeing the baby, the carriage, the proposal. You idealize him in your mind. And then once you get with him, all the red flags you tend to make excuses for, because you already created a reality in your head for this person that you don't want to tarnish. You don't want to take this reality and change it. And so sometimes these women marry these red flags. They marry these men with these red flags. And now by the time that disillusionment, like you realize you were, it was all an illusion, it's too late. It's too late. You're married. And now a person that deals with an addiction to love really find it tough to break up or to get divorced or to leave a relationship. They're the types to stay in it no matter what, even at the cost of their own lives. It's a mental thing. And a lot of people think it's so easy to just get up and leave, But you've been sucked in by this reality that you had, where you have to check yourself. When you find yourself, trust me, if you've been an OG subscriber, this is Kareen talking to you, and this is coming from a place of love. Whenever you start to fall in love or you meet someone you like, check yourself in over fantasizing. I don't care if they've expressed their undying love to you. Check yourself when you start to see you're idealizing them and remind yourself of the facts. What do I know now? And then you realize, I don't really know much. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. He could be this, he could be that. She could be this, she could be that. Many a times, the fantasizing is what keeps you trapped in relationships that you're not supposed to be in, and it's not healthy. Please listen to me in this. Take this bit of wisdom. Cut this over fantasizing off. Over idealizing and dramatizing, making things more than what it is. That's where you get lopsided lovers. That's where you get obsessive lovers, people that create this reality in their mind. They really think you're already their man. They're taking everything so seriously. They think that you're already their woman, etc. And you're like, whoa, slow down. And they're the ones stalking you, becoming obsessive, etc. She talks about that in the book also. It can get very dangerous if you try to live in the present, in the now, not rush things, not over fantasize, okay? Next, of course, is excessive need for contact with the partner, meaning that if the person keeps texting you nonstop, keeps calling nonstop, you can't breathe. They know you have to work all day, but they find it as a sort of rejection or an insult if you're not talking to them nonstop. It's like you cannot get anything done yourself because they consume your life. They themselves have lives. They have jobs. It's not like they're bums all the time. You're like, wait, why aren't you focusing? I know you have to study. I know you have to work. I know you have to do X, Y, Z. Where do you have the time to text me all day? You have to be very careful of people like that. And I'm not saying to intentionally, not respond to people, but here's another thing that you can do. If you yourself find that you struggle with that, where you're waiting by the phone, get a life. Get a life for yourself. Even if you have a life, get a hobby. Tell yourself to chill. Put your phone on silent so you don't have to hear the beep. If you're obsessive with it, you're waiting for every beep. You're waiting to see if it's him or her texting back. And if it's not, your soul is crushed. Put the phone down. Put it on silent. Go find an entertaining movie to watch. Go out for a walk. Hang out with some friends. Keep yourself busy and do not obsess over the person. Really create some hobbies for yourself. I'm gonna put my level up playlist in the comments section. Actually, I'm going to put my dating playlist in the comments to give you guys a little bit more insight on how to do this. Check out that video. It'll give you more on how to have your own hobbies, how to have your own identity, etc., so that you're not this person, okay? But if the person just have to be in contact with you all the time and they have a need for it, be very wary of that. Next is negative emotions when away from the partner. If it looks like they're depressed, they're sick when you're not around, or they're moody because they haven't seen you or talked to you all day, and then they finally cheer up when you start to text them and stuff like that. If you notice that with yourself, if you notice that all day your mood is trash, like you don't want to talk to nobody, you're not pleasant, you're upset, and in the minute, like I've seen memes like that. Like I said, social media loves to glamorize stuff like that. They do reels and stuff on this where it's like, oh, the woman was about to cut her hair and then the man texts back.
Ain't no way, and today ain't nobody do it like you.
And it's like, oh, okay, he texts back. Yeah, no, your mood should be stable all day and should not be dependent on anyone. Please do not let anyone determine if you're going to be happy today. Do what you got to do anyways. The person didn't text, tell yourself, hey, it's okay. It's okay. I have stuff to do anyways. It's fine. I'm not going to let this determine my mood. But if you find yourself moody by this, please pay attention to that. That is a sign that you're addicted to love. And if the person was like, oh, finally, they're constantly, like you can tell the minute you engage with them, they lift up their mood up. Or if they have the slightest disagreement with you or anything, they take it out on everybody else. They're mean, they're moody, they don't want to talk to people. It's like if you find that you can control the mood of the person you're with, then that person is addicted to love. And I'm talking about by simple things, like you didn't even really do nothing and they just already feel away. And it's like, dang, I really gotta shower this person with love and attention just so their mood is not messed up because of me, Next is lack of self-identity outside of the relationship. We talk about that all the time, to have your own identity. Also, check out my Level Up playlist on how to do that, to have your own interests and hobbies. Do you know what you're interested in? Do you know? Yeah. Feelings of worthlessness when not in a relationship. Whenever you see everybody else in a relationship, does it get you sad? Do you feel like am I really that pretty? Am I lovable? Maybe it's something wrong with me whenever you're not in a relationship, like your value feels diminished and you need someone to validate your worth by being in a relationship with them. That, my friend, is an addiction to love. Next is loss of interest in work activities and friendships. The ones that no longer want to hang out. It's all about my man, my man, my man, my man, my man, my man. And they let it be known that that's the only thing that matters. My man is the love of my life. That's all I care about. I don't care about friendships. I don't care about family. I don't care about work. I don't care about anything. I will sacrifice anything for my man. I will sacrifice anything for my woman. Okay? That is not flattery. That is dangerous because a lot of people, when they date someone who's addicted to love, they feel flattered. Oh, he or she really loves me. They'll do anything for me. They'll sacrifice. I have this man wrapped around my finger. I have this girl so obsessed. No, it's her own trauma. Does the person really love you? Or are they just trying to, in a way, or are they just addicted to love in the sense that they're trying to soothe their own childhood trauma by projecting all of these emotions onto you or doing the most? That's how you have to consider it. Don't look at it like it's a compliment. It's not. That's a sign actually that this person needs to heal. And if we happen to have kids, they might pass on this toxic traits to this person. And if you know you've done some mean things towards the person and they're still here, like, hey, you're probably watching and you've been cheating on your spouse forever. You've been cheating on your girl. You've been cheating on your man. And you watching. You treat them bad. They know it. You're cussing them out every day. You're mad at them. You're just not a pleasant person to be with. And that person is still here. That's not a compliment to how good your intimacy is with them or how pretty or handsome you look. That's not a compliment. That just means that, one, you're trash. But I'm sorry. But two, that person has low self-esteem and they're addicted to love because of their own trauma. And in a sense, you're manipulating their own trauma. You're taking advantage of the person. And you have to know, hey, for your own good, when you're with someone who's not addicted to love, they're not going to let you get away with whatever. And there's people that specifically only date people that's addicted to love because they're afraid of being with someone that's going to hold them to task. It's a source of fear for them. You have to be careful of that too. Now, next is an attraction to emotionally unavailable people, which is what we're talking about. Those are the women that date married men, the men that date married women, or people that's already in relationships, or people that have said that they're not interested in a relationship, and people have made it clear that they're unavailable. Those are the people you go after, the people that are out of your league, or you maybe, the people that don't want you back, that makes you suffer for their love. This is a sign of an addiction to love. What are the possible consequences of an addiction to love? There are some possible consequences associated with behaviors that resemble a love addiction. Individuals with obsessive or unhealthy feelings around love may have difficulty holding a job because you're always calling out, you're daydreaming at work, you're not as productive. They have difficulty in school also. They'll drop out for a guy or a woman, and they have difficulty focusing on anything that is productive for themselves. Whether it's their body, it can go two ways. You either let yourself go from the depression of whatever situation is going in your love life, or you become obsessed with looking good, hoping that, to the point of even having EDs, hoping that maybe if you look this way, you will keep a relationship or have somebody give their undying love to you because it's based on how you look. Next is participate in stalking or cyber stalking, which is dangerous. And it's, again, social media glamorize it, where women are, looking through their man's likes. What pictures are you liking? And you're stalking everything he's doing on social media. And you want to know everything, going through the phones when they're asleep, this and that, whatever. You need validation to make sure that they're happy with you and they love you and it's only you, etc. And when you're content with yourself and you're not addicted to love, none of those things matter. There are women that are so content with themselves that I know in my life where it's like it really don't interest them to go through the phones or do any of that. It's like they're just so content and happy, and in essence it reflects even in the man. The man knows, hey, this person loves themselves too much that if I was ever caught slipping, that would be it for me. And I love this person. So they naturally just walk the line, but it can easily go to that. And next is distance themselves from friends and family, and then also experience panic attacks and have anxiety, lose their mind, have temper tantrums. Those people that self-harm whenever they're not getting their way in the relationship. They try to take their own lives or even take the life of the lover that's rejecting them. And it comes to the point of taking their lives. It gets that dark because what you saw in your mind is not being reciprocated, and it can give a rage in an unhealthy person, And people who are addicted to love tend to let go of relationships less. They tend to want to stay within a relationship, so they do have difficulty breaking up. So when someone breaks up with them, it triggers this rage that you're just doing a lot of crazy attention-seeking stuff, stopping by their house, keying their car, slashing their tires, stalking the new girl, obsessing over the new girl, showing up in places where you're not supposed to be showing up, having your friend follow them on social media just so you can keep tabs, calling on star 69 or star 67, and then just doing a whole bunch of crazy, deranged things. And you realize, why did I do that? Again, everybody goes through those phases when they're young. But when you're starting to get older, you have to look at yourself and be like, this is not healthy. Like, if someone wants to break up and leave with you, goodbye, peace, sayonara, I wish you well. Okay. Next is lose interest in hobbies and other activities. When this person gets into a relationship, maybe they were great in school and then they drop out because they're no longer interested in the things that they were interested in anymore. If they liked to horseback ride or paint or do anything artistic, now all of their lives is spent in making sure that they are the perfect or ideal girlfriend material or boyfriend material to be in this type of relationship. In rare case, and then even in this aspect of friendship, whatever you like to do no longer, it's like whatever everyone else wants to do, that's what's important now. Okay, which is crazy. In Psych Central, they talk about how it can go to the point of taking your own life. It's like withdrawal. It's an addiction. Addiction to love is just as strong. They say, I don't know if it was Marilyn Monroe who said it, but the strongest addiction is the addiction to people. The addiction to people is stronger than any substance, really. When you're addicted to people, when you don't have it, it can lead to substance. It can lead to stalking, taking advantage of people, being weird, okay? All of these things can happen from the lack of it. And just like an addiction, you can go through withdrawal. So even if the relationship was toxic, the person break up with you, you find that you were in a relationship with someone, y'all broke up, the person went and had a new relationship. Now, all of a sudden, you're the mistress or the side chick to the person that you used to be in a relationship with. And you're okay with taking or being that because you have such an addiction to that person. You're okay with being the side chick. And then say you finally go and be with someone else, the pattern, the cycle just repeats itself until you heal. That's so sad. This is a tragic thing with the addiction to love. It's not pleasant place to be at. And it's a thing that you're going to have to work really hard to overcome. But of course, you can overcome with healing. Listen, I know everyone can't afford a therapist. I started my healing journey with reading books, watching videos like this, reading books, okay? And I have a mental health playlist that I have here also, so check that out. Just go look through my playlist. I know I'm putting the dating one here because once you heal, these things naturally come to you. Because like I said, I didn't know about addiction to love, because the other thing I would do is I would over fantasize and idealize people I was in a relationship with. And when I realized that that was so toxic, the Lord had to really pull me out of that. But I realized this before even this book. This book just put into words all of these things, but healing, tackling your childhood traumas, reading these books, listening to those podcasts that talk about this, and doing self-reflection, being honest and raw with yourself. Don't sugarcoat it. If you're offended when you watch a video like this and you feel called out, instead of commenting something mean or being triggered, or because I used to avoid content where people was calling me out, I felt like, whatever, like I'm not watching this or whatever. And I'll encourage you that if the more you do that, you're blocking your own healing journey. You have to be raw, real, and honest with yourself. That's the only way things are going to change. You have to be raw with yourself. But prayer really, really works, because I prayed about the fantasizing thing so much. I kid you not. There was a person that really came into my life that just seemed so perfect, and from the surface and the conversations that I was like, oh my goodness, things are going so well. So I started to over fantasize, idealize the person. And the Lord was like, absolutely not. And it wasn't a dream. The Lord revealed to me, this is your issue. and you need to stop this. Have your own life. Don't put no one before me, don't put no one before me. Childhood trauma is one of the causes of this. And in the sense, let me break it down to you. Experts explain that people who experience feelings of love addiction may be dealing with issues of childhood trauma and fear of abandonment. Gaba says that those with a history of trauma may be people who might have grown up in a family where their parents were emotionally unavailable. They didn't get what they needed. So they are trying to fill that empty void and fix what they didn't get growing up. While some individuals who identify with the love addiction label experience childhood abandonment or neglect, Cohen explains these prior difficulties are not necessarily a prerequisite. Instead, she believes that culturally, we are set up for love addiction. We are, because culturally, when you watch movies like Fatal Attraction and you watch movies that are so toxic on love, songs literally tell you, I can't live if living is without you. That is so toxic. Don't mind my voice, yeah. But in the book, she talks about that too. We grow up listening to love songs nonstop. Is so dangerous and so toxic. And we literally grow up just listening to these songs over and over again. That tells us that your very sole reason for living is to live because of this person. Can't live without you. I'd give my all to be just one more night with you. I'm thinking of a lot of Mariah Carey, Toni Braxton, and the people I grew up with, in a lot of movies. Comment below some songs. I want to have a little key in the comments. Comment below some songs that you know is toxic, but promotes addiction to love. And comment below some movies also that you know is toxic, but promotes this. Like, it's just, there's a lot of movies. And she gives examples of all these movies and songs in the book. I cannot stress it enough. But culturally, we are set up, even social media. I'm telling you about memes on social media, skits that promotes this to where we think it's normal. We resonate and we go about thinking, yay, okay. Do you not see how we're culturally set up for that? So having childhood trauma is not even a prerequisite, because you don't even need childhood trauma. You're already set up to fail in that department just culturally. And all I can do is pray that you guys really heal from this. Share this video with someone you know might need this. If you don't want to, send it right away to them so they don't be like, okay, share it to your Instagrams, tag me. Share it on your Facebook. Make sure you share the book with someone also. Gift it to them. Gift it as a birthday. Purchase the book and gift it. I love it so much. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys in my next video. And leave a pink heart in the comments if you stayed until the very end. Until next time. Bye.